What is up, everybody? You having a good night, fellas?
Oh yeah,
Let's go, baby.
just got done watching Friday the 13th. Pumped up, baby.
Oh yeah, man. It's everybody's been talking the Friday 13th thing today. So we had one guy who was like, I can't buy a car today. I can't do it on Friday the 13th. It's bad luck.
Hey, dude, I
Well,
don't
why'd you
blame
come to
him.
the dealership, man? Why
I
did
ain't doing shit on Friday the 13th. I ain't leaving my house. I'm not leaving the property. I'm surveying everything. You gotta watch your fucking back, man. Head on a swivel on Friday the 13th for sure.
I was
Yeah,
working on
for
electrical stuff. I was working on electrical stuff today, so I was a little bit worried too. I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this.
Speaking of like Friday 13th, I guess it came a day early, but man, boys, that game last night had a mask of its own. That was not what anybody expected.
No.
1 for 5 in the red zone from the Chiefs. It was just brutal. And I'll be honest, I was doing the NASCAR stream at 8:30, so I missed the first half. I come down, I see Travis Kelce is a monster game going. Got a lot of Travis Kelce going on. I come back upstairs. I waited, I'm like, I get to watch the second half. Nothing from Travis Kelce, nothing from the Chiefs. And JC, does Sean Payton and the Broncos stink as bad as I think they do? I think they're literally the worst team in football.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of a karma thing for Sean Payton. He came out talking smack about how bad coaching was, there before, and like, look at him
Yeah.
now. Like, he's absolutely trash. Got beat by a ball boy, right?
Yeah, dude, that's pathetic.
You ball boy. All right. All right, got some people already popping in. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Greg?
Greg, I appreciate you staying up past your bedtime to hang out with us and enjoy some fantasy football banter.
It's Friday.
Yeah. And he's jumping right in with it. Christine.
Oh yeah. I looked at that movie too.
Marcy popping in. Good evening, Marcy.
Mars.
Always appreciate you popping in the stream. We actually had Marcy on during our Thursday night watch party, audio only, but we had the infamous Marcy on for just a short time.
Cool.
We got a little Cowboys pumpage and a little KC thumbs down from her.
A lot of Rangers talk.
Yeah, a lot of Rangers talk, a lot of baseball on the Thursday night football, but it was at the end of the game, and I felt like once that field goal happened and they became two possessions out, it was like Anyway, so tonight, this is from the forum. It is a fantasy football question and answer show. We are here. I got Seth from IBT Media. I got JC from the sports affiliation, and me, the Tyler, I guess. I don't know.
Captain. The old captain.
I guess I'll captain the ship, but most of all, best part, we got you guys, even Wendy popping in the
What's
chat.
up, Wendy? Let's go.
I appreciate that. What a compliment. But just a great group of people hanging out tonight. We are going to be answering some questions from fantasyfootballadvice.com. This is our website, our social media platform for only fantasy football. None of the other stuff, just hanging out, talking ball, answering questions. There's tons of great articles. Man, Seth, that one y'all put up for CD this week, I have seen more trades involving CD this week than ever. I don't know what it is. If everybody's just selling on Dak and they're like, maybe
prime time stinker, bro. Prime time stinker week 5. That's exactly when panic sets in. You got a lot of 1-4, 2-3 teams with CD, and they're like, I'm gonna sell him low. And we even said in that article, Tyler, like, don't sell low on him right now. Like, this is probably when he's gonna go off. They have a great matchup here. Everyone sucks ass against the 49ers. CD Lamb and the Cowboys suck a little more against the 49ers than most, but it's tough sledding out there.
What do you think of JC? Are you selling CD right now?
So I had CD finishing at like number 4, I think, on the year coming into the year. So I don't know if I can sell him yet. And even though a quarterback doesn't do well, a wide receiver can still benefit, right? They can still do whatever they need to do after the catch, right? We've seen that with Matthew Stafford. He hasn't put up amazing numbers, but he's putting, Puka Nacua is putting up crazy numbers, right? So wide receiver that's talented can still benefit from a bad quarterback.
Well, I think like Mike McCarthy's going to look in the mirror at some point saying, maybe I was too harsh on what Kellen Moore was doing, opening up the offense. Like they need to pass it downfield. They have downfield receivers. They have CeeDee Lamb, who the A-dot can kind of be wherever for him, but Michael Gallup, high A-dot receiver. Brandon Cooks, high A-dot receiver. So they need to open it up here a little bit, and I think they're gonna see after the Chargers open it up and lay a can of whoop ass on them here on Monday night what they need to do.
Oh, I think that's going to be a good game.
Chargers are definitely a team that you can throw on. We saw Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota's trash.
Yeah.
Albert popping in. What's up, Albert? Appreciate you for joining in always. All right, so we got a question. We got some questions hitting the chat, and we're going to swap over to answer some stuff on fantasyfootballadvice.com. By the way, if you're not on there, go to fantasyfootballadvice.com and sign up. It is free to sign up. We do have upgrade membership options, but you can hang out for free. It's a good time, and you got great people like these guys that are answering your questions and giving advice. So we got IC in the chat, Mike Evans or Adam Thielen. I got Cup, Diggs, and Hill as my other 3 wide receivers. This is for my flex. What a group for the. All
right. Well, first of all, congratulations. You won your league. Like you won your league. You have, I would say, the wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, in my opinion, JC, on your team already.
Yeah, this is a pretty ridiculous team.
I don't know how you end up with all 3 of those.
Just
trades, maybe. Trades. I don't know. Maybe if this is a dynasty league, you made a bunch of crazy trades to make this happen. Or, I mean, think about the year. Was it 2000? When JJ came in? That whole day. I mean, there's a ton of talent that in that year. Was 2020. So just a ton of talent that came out of that year. In the first round. And if you traded your whole team right for that first round, something like that could happen. But not this. Not these players together.
Yeah,
that's stout.
So who's in the flex, guys? Is it Mike Evans or Adam Thielen this week? He did say that this is a 8-team league. He took Diggs and Hill with his first 2 picks, and Cup fell to round 6. Wow.
Man, the Buccaneers offense has been so much better than I think anyone could have imagined. And I'm believing in the hype a little bit. Like Baker Mayfield's advanced analytics kind of are jumping off the page a little bit, at least for Baker here. The matchups, I guess, are what we have to consider. JC, what are your thoughts here on the Buccaneers? You think it's for real?
So my thoughts on the Bucs is their defense is even just as strong. So they're a team that I kind of tend to not play receivers against because of how well they've been doing against the wide receivers. So that alone is also helping, Baker, not be, struggling out so much. He doesn't have to go out there and try to do everything. So he can kind of get out there. He's got Mike Evans. Mike Evans been balling. He's got obviously we know Mike Evans has the coolest temper a little bit sometimes. But, there's so much talent around Baker. I mean, they can do a lot there.
So here's the question. I mean, I think that Thielen is interesting because the Panthers most likely in this game, almost assuredly, are going to be playing from behind the entire game. They are going to be behind. So, does that mean 40, 50 throws for Bryce Young? Like, I mean, are we going to see that? Are we going to see Thielen get 9, 10, 7-yard catches, 11-yard catches? Like, does that boost him enough? Or do we think that Evans, with Baker is going to be able to steal? I mean, they're playing Detroit. Is still going to be able to extend that.
I think I'm going to have to go with Thielen. It's just worse defenses in that game. I think there will be more points. The Lions defense, their secondary, they can't seem to stay healthy right now. But I think if they could get them at full strength, this defense would be very, very formidable. They're great against the run. I love that front 7 for Detroit. Tampa Bay has a pretty good defense as well. I'm just expecting lower points in that afternoon game. So I'd probably have to go with Thielen just because we know from moment one, like you said, Tyler, it's going to be Bryce Young hucking the ball around the fucking field. Maybe not well, but he's going to be hucking around the fucking field.
Yeah, I think he's going to be running for his life is what I think he's going to be doing. That's what he's probably going to be doing.
I mean, that's probably true too. We shall see. So I guess Seth,
I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I might go Mike Evans here. I think
Mike
think them
Evans.
coming off the bye, him having to sit, not having that game, obviously, and him coming off that bye. I think he's going to come out here firing away. I think same thing with Baker. He's ready to come out and fire away too.
I just think Thielen's just going to get too many targets. Even Greg's popping in here, even with 35, he's going to get 12 targets. It's there. And so, to me, I think that you've just got the upside there. I don't love Bryce Young, but I do think that Bryce will get the ball out.
Yep.
And we'll see some movement. Yeah. Let's see. We got, the chats. I'm trying to keep up with everything. Let's see. Wendy, I'll take CD to my grave. I'm with you, Wendy. I've got CD in a lot of leagues, and I'm not giving up. Let's see here. All right. Wendy's saying DJ Moore or Foreman in the flex spot PPR.
DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore. I think that Minnesota's front against running is a lot better than their defensive backs. I mean, that's why we got so many points on IDP for the defensive backs in Minnesota, because they have to make so many tackles. Yeah, I'm going DJ Moore.
I'm definitely DJ Moore. To me, it's not even close. I mean, we saw with Herbert and Roschon going out, Foreman still didn't get touches, and I don't know. I mean, granted, he was active, he didn't play, but he was active on the roster. I'm just not as confident. We've seen Foreman be successful, but DJ Moore the last 2 weeks, Fields the last 2 weeks. I just can't turn that off. That's a TV show I want to keep watching.
If we were redrafting right now, I think DJ Moore goes in the early third round. I think that's he is a sit it and forget it wide receiver right now. Let's ride it out. We have a great matchup in Minnesota. Don't get cute here, Wendy. Don't get cute.
Don't get cute, Wendy.
Excellent matchup against Minnesota.
Yes.
All right, we're going to hit this next question in the chat. Drop 2. This is interesting. We don't get many drop questions. Drop 2.
These are the best questions. These are my favorite questions, honestly. I love answering drop questions.
Oh, maybe it's it's a drop 2 and then a start 2. So drop 2, Spears, Hubbard, Sanders, Foreman, Charbonnet.
Miles Sanders is out. He's out. He's already sick.
But this is drop. I think we're dropping these from the roster. So you add on Sanders for the season. Is he droppable?
Yeah, well, I'm not dropping Tajay Spears. We know what he is, man. If Henry goes down, he's going to be a workhorse. He's already doing really good work with Henry there, so I'm not dropping. He's probably one of the best handcuffs out there. Hubbard's been all right. I mean, he's been all right. Miles Sanders has been, pretty trash. He still fumbles the ball.
I feel like he has to keep those two because he's got the backfield locked.
Yeah. Agreed.
Probably Foreman and Wilson for me, Jeff Wilson. I don't know. I can't drop Charbonnet because talent's there too. You're just hoping.
I would want to know more information about this league. Is this a 10-team league? Like how deep is it? Because I think if it's a 10-team, you could probably let Charbonnet walk and get him back here in a week or two. If you need a play this week, it has to Foreman's probably a top 25 guy for me when everything shakes down here. You got to fire up Hubbard this week as well. Those are your 2 plays I think out of this bunch is Foreman and Hubbard. No Jeff Wilson this week. It's looking like as well. But you can't. You're spot on, JC, with Spears.
Yeah, the answer is Miles Sanders. They have a bye week next week.
Yeah.
So you think he's going to sit there? I would pick
Hubbard,
him up.
Man. You think really? You think people are going to?
I mean, if he was dropped
right now, I found Kyle Pitts out there on waivers. People miss it. It was not even. He wasn't even. It was free. I picked him up for free because people missed him. He was way down on the list because of that. I'm telling you, man. People. What the majority out there of what fantasy players they look at the what's it called the trending
on Sleeper.
Everybody looks at that trending list. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you right now, Pitts was all the way down at 30.
If
He said it's a 12-team league, by the way.
I'm not dropping Miles Sanders in a 12-team league. No. You can
I'm going to
trade
drop
him.
Foreman. Foreman has probably 1 week
He
of
needs
relevance
him though.
here.
He's got to start him. He needs to.
He doesn't have to start him.
Oh,
I'd start Tajay over him. He's still already.
Okay. Sorry. I saw.
You can start
okay.
Juba and Spears.
I'm as far as like dropping for the season, like Foreman's value doesn't care. Like Charbonnet, if Walker goes down, like oh my gosh, Charbonnet's
I
value.
love Charbonnet. I got him everywhere, but I'm dropping him here.
I'm definitely dropping Foreman, and I'm
Jeff
probably dropping Jeff Wilson because that is a 4-back or 3. It's a 4-back or 3-back set.
We don't know.
You got Mostert. You got A-Chain, who's hurt. You got Ahmed, who was like sneaky killer. Coming in here. Then you got Jeff Wilson, who's coming off injury. Jeff Wilson will. I mean, maybe he's gone, but if you have Tajay, you have Charbonnet. I mean, he's probably got other running backs. We're talking about the bottom barrel of his roster right here, most likely if we're talking drops. It's Foreman and Wilson. Charbonnet falls into that level of what you call elite handcuff. It was Pollard last year. You always have those handcuffs, which Pollard ended up being more of a starter than Zeke, but you always have those handcuffs that are like very, very significant. And as much as Seattle runs the ball, I can't think of a season that they keep a running back healthy all season. They always get banged up, and we always end up seeing DJ Dallas somewhere deep into the season because nobody's healthy. So
yeah. Well, then you just have to be comfortable starting Hubbard this week if you're gonna be dropping those guys. But great question, really good question there.
Yeah, for sure. We've got to get over to the network in just a second. I'm going to hit a couple more of these, and then we're going to go check a couple questions over there. Stevenson or Spears?
Is
this a one week thing? Just this week, we're guessing?
Rest the season? Sure, let's go rest the season.
Tajay. So sorry, but I'm going to say
Dude,
Tajay.
Is this not crazy? Like, we talked about this last show, like Ramondre was like, I seen him go in the second round. I seen him go in the third round. Like, we are in week 6, and these people that we thought would be the pinnacle of our offenses are like somehow below Tajay Spears, who we didn't even think coming into the season would probably even get much work.
Ryan wants to know for this week as well. So I can't answer the first question for the season. That one really tests me. I would still take Stevenson. I'm going to try to buy low, I think, on Stevenson still. I know it's stinky over there, but I have to think it's like this is as worse as it's going to get.
Man, dude. You know what's crazy? They're three players away from each other, 27 and 30. That's crazy. On the year.
It's so crazy. You're talking about draft value, Teeb.
Per sleeper, that's what they're at.
I don't think I want to play Spears against Baltimore, though. I think that's what I'm running from. I think I like the Raiders matchup better for Ramondre. And I don't know. Josh McDaniels knows this offense a lot. I think eventually, like they can't out scheme Josh McDaniels here. I feel like they just have to give Ramondre the rock and see what happens. He's the best player on this offense. It's not close. There are no other, I don't think, very, very talented players on this offense. They got to use him here. Give me Ramondre Stevenson, Ryan. JC, your thoughts on this week?
I know it's Baltimore, but I think maybe they're just going to be trying to shut down Derrick Henry and Spears comes out on the
Spears train.
I mean, dude, he's been trending up. It's crazy.
You're trying to get that wake and bake going and kick it off early here with a little Tajay Spears big game over in London, then, huh?
I guess it is in London. Oh, but it's Ramondre. Do you guys think that Bill's gone after this year?
No, it's Bill Belichick. He's not gone after this year. They will address quarterback before they let Bill go.
Agreed.
We're gonna hit this one real quick just because we already hit it. Thanks for the question. I think we're going Chubb Madison in this one pretty easily. Agreed.
Yep. He doesn't have Foreman on his team after our advice either. So
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Is Keontae Ingram startable over White, over Pierce?
No, not at all. These guys have guaranteed volume. We don't know how the Arizona backfield is going to shake out. Keontae Ingram just kind of getting back to. I'm not afraid of Rashad White this week. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think Rashad White, like, I don't love the talent, but I just like the role.
Didn't they just sign Tony Jones over there too in Arizona?
Yeah, it's a crowded backfield.
Yeah, I think I just
Tony Jones is everywhere too. That guy cannot stay away. It's like whenever an injury happens, everyone's picking up the phone. Get on the phone with fucking Tony Jones right now. He's on some practice squad around the league. Bring him in, get him on a flight, give him that first class meal, baby.
That's the best.
That's incredible.
Really? I mean, it's not wrong.
I don't think he's startable over White or Pierce.
No.
I don't think he's startable. I don't think if you picked him up, I mean, I would try to trade him if you can for somebody that believes he could be the truth for the rest of the season. I mean, we at least have 4 weeks of uncertainty with Connor being out, but I don't think he's the dude. He has not. There's a difference when you see
better.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about it with Jalen Warren versus Najee. You know, you see it with Keontae versus DeMarcado. Like, there is just a little bit more electricity to the DeMarcado's game where Ingram feels stale. When he runs the ball, it feels stale. And so I'm just not buying it. He's coming off injury. He's probably not going to get the full load anyways. I'm not carrying him. I didn't waste any fab trying to pick him up. I am moving on. So we're going to pop over here. Don't worry, Hanson. We're going to get to your question right after this one, but we're going to go over to the Advice Network. We had a trade hit, and I'm curious, you fellas, what you think. So here we go. Fantasy Football Advice Network. Frex just got offered Pollard and Waddle for Tyreek Hill. Do I take that trade with my team? Now, his team is Cousins, Mixon, Stevenson, Hill, Lamb, Goddard, Brees. What the heck? I don't know how these people get these teams.
This is a great team.
But, you know, he loses Hill and picks up Waddle and Pollard. So running back, let's see if he needs running back Hill. Mixon, Ramondre, Brees, Zeke, Justice Hill.
Yeah, he definitely. It's not about what's his record? Do we know his record? No. Okay.
We don't know the record. No.
Man, I don't know. It's so hard to get rid of like the number 2 overall player in fantasy. Like if we're redrafting today, Hill's the number 2 player, I think, off the board for most people. It's so hard to get rid of him. We don't really know what's happening with Pollard right now. I don't know. I
just can't let Hill go. So, like, you know, in fantasy, you see I feel like good players often do this type of thing where they piece together kind of like middle level or like middle ground guys to get a dude, right? Like we're talking about like a top 3 player. And so then, you know, I mean, every week he's starting Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. Like, I'm taking that. You know, he's got Brees, and this is what really makes me not so worried about it. Like, Brees is coming on. Brees is going to be okay. Like, the more and more work he gets, the more and more excited I get about Brees again. You know, I don't know if you're in the same boat. What do you think, Seth?
Oh, I am 100%. I have all the Brees Hall everywhere. Elijah Vera-Tucker going down, that's actually kind of a significant hit a little bit. I think this entire Jets offense once again. Man, I would have loved to see what Brees and Garrett Wilson could have done with healthy Aaron Rodgers, a better offensive line. But this is what our reality is. And I still think Brees Hall, he's going to have some down games. I don't love the matchup this week, to be honest with you. I don't love what the potential game script is. But Brees, I think realistically, he is a low end RB1 rest of the season for me.
Yeah. The one thing I do struggle with is I do tend to lean a little bit running back heavy because they're more likely to be injured, which is the only thing that makes me think about this trade, right? Like we're talking about Pollard, and Pollard's had a rough go because he's had a rough schedule starting out. Like, you know, like they still get some easier matchups going in And so, I don't know. That gives me a little bit, but I think I'm still holding on to Tyreek Hill. JC?
Yeah, I mean, if we would have looked at this trade though at the beginning of the year, you would have thought this would have been closer, right? Pollard was drafted pretty high. Waddle was drafted pretty high. Tyreek was still drafted first, end of the first, maybe into the second. So this trade would have been great at the beginning of the year, but you're kind of scared a little bit. We already see Waddle get hurt a little bit. He has come back, right? He has looked good coming back and being healthy. You just got to hope Pollard comes back and is starting to perform a little more. They have a bye coming up after this week. So, I mean, you're trading into a bye, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
all right,
fair trade.
Yeah, fair. I think that's a good. It is a fair trade. Fair trade for sure. All right, Christian Watson or T. Higgins PPR rest of season.
Oh, geez. These are good questions tonight.
Yeah,
I know it's always good when you got to like grind your gears a little bit. Like, a question hits and you're like, oh, how am I going to answer this? Like, are they like, it's like risky enough to throw out an answer that like you feel like you might get put on blast for putting it out there. You know what I mean?
I think if this is Dynasty, you're going Christian Watson. I think Dobbs has really come on hot. A little more hot than we thought that he would, but I think with Christian Watson being out, he had that opportunity to shine. Jordan Love has looked like garbage. I think that's the only thing you're really worried about here. Higgins, I don't know, him being a little bit banged up too is kind of making me question things too. But Joe Burrow's come on hot, last game. Really, I mean, he's been coming on hot. So if Higgins gets back in there, he could get. I don't know, man. You're right. It is tough, but
I can tell you this. Go ahead, Seth.
Well, I think the perceived value of Higgins will always be higher. So rest of season, I would take Higgins just because I think you can trade Higgins easier. If Christian Watson doesn't have a good game, like Christian Watson really doesn't have quite the track record that Higgins has. He's explosive. I love Christian Watson. The skill set's there. But I think you can always just get more for T. Higgins. Like we're still talking about T. Higgins like he's the GOAT here. And he hasn't done shit all year, but we know how talented this guy is. And now I think the Bengals are getting healthier.
Watson I agree. The Bengals are getting healthier.
I think it's like Watson didn't come on until late last year. So remember I sold early on Fields, right? And I'm the one who missed out. What if we're selling early on Watson? All of a sudden it's like 2 weeks down the road, he's got, 3 touchdown game, crazy amount of yards. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
There he is.
It's tough because you do get Chase competing for targets. Like you get that, you get that dynamic. But I mean, Higgins when on the field is big time. I'm curious about the injury. I'm curious how much it's really holding him back. If he's going to be able to get right. I was excited. I mean, Watson, his first game back, he didn't play a lot, got a touchdown. Last week, didn't get a touchdown, but what did he have? Like
he had that huge reception too, right?
Yeah, he had 91 yards on 3 receptions. Against Las Vegas. They got Denver coming up. They got Minnesota coming up. They got Pittsburgh. They got the Rams. They got the Chargers. They got Detroit. Like, I mean, it's not ugly for that matchup. So, it's not like they're like, Bengals have to play Baltimore twice. They get Pittsburgh twice, which is not as bad, right? That's a decent matchup. The Browns, they get the Browns twice. The Browns defense is nasty. I don't know. I think it's close enough. I might be on the risky side. I love T. Higgins. I have a lot of shares of T. Higgins, but we saw it when T. Higgins wasn't healthy. What was it like? Not last year before last. He struggled to get going and get back on the field, and I just don't want to live through that again.
Watson's the fun pick. Watson, like if you want to have fun, Watson is the fun pick for sure. Fantasy football is supposed to be fun too.
Yeah. So Brenner is saying Bill is out of there. I am not on board with that. Greg said New England's offense is a mess. Spears is a virtual split with Henry. I'm going Spears. Talking about our question earlier. Yeah, I love having Greg in the chat. Greg answers questions in the chat like he's one of us on live screen. It's appreciated.
High five, Greg.
Yes, sir. All right. I think I missed one. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Start 2 receivers and a flex. 3/4 point PPR. That's interesting.
Wow.
St.
I didn't know
Brown.
there. What a bunch of degenerates you have to be to say, hey, we
They're like,
don't want.
we're
we
just
don't
gonna
want any-
jack with it, right? We're just gonna
Yeah.
mess with it, and we're gonna make 3/4 point PPR. We don't want half. We don't want full. We're gonna go 3/4.
Half the team was one way, half the team was the other, so they had to split it down the middle.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, you get 2 receivers. So we're St. Brown, Hollywood, Thielen, Ridley. He said he's leaning St. Brown, Thielen, and Ridley for the trio. So what are we thinking, JC?
Man, I think you can still go Hollywood Brown here. He's been very, very consistent. I mean, getting about 16 points every single week. I got to have him there. St. Brown, I'm probably going to start him, and I'm probably still going to go with Calvin Ridley. He's been explosive.
So you're going Brown, Ridley. All right,
Okay.
Seth?
Yeah, I probably have to sit Brown. Honestly, I think
Which Brown are
Thielen-
you sitting?
Hollywood Brown in this case. We talked about it earlier on the show tonight, but I think Thielen is in a great garbage time matchup, and I think it's going to be a great week for him. The floor is a lot higher with Thielen. I think that's where my safety net is.
So you would sit Hollywood. Let's see here. I'm pulling this up because I was surprised. So Hollywood has only had 1 week below 16 points in standard PPR.
It's just the consistency, man. If you're there, if you're looking for a floor, your floor is 16 points. I mean, that's great. Consistency. I mean, you could have a bad week. They are playing the Rams, but
I would say, I mean, obviously you're starting St. Brown. You're starting St. Brown. It kind of become like I like Ridley this week. I hope that game's a high scoring game. I want Minshew to air the ball out like a crazy man, and I think he's going to do it. So it is between, I think, Thielen and Hollywood. I think that's your mix for your flex. And, if Thielen gets 8 receptions, which to me sounds playing from behind against Miami like an automatic. Like it sounds like an automatic, and maybe even more. Like let's say they actually do get down into the red zone and they're able to score a touchdown. I feel a little better with Hubbard running the ball this week. Maybe Thielen gets a corner shot like front corner, pylon touchdown. Like that feels right this week. So I think I'm gonna lean Thielen on this one. I love Hollywood. Hollywood has been super consistent this year, and nobody expected it. He's really blossomed in that offense. Josh Dobbs has really blossomed in the offense. I mean, what a wow. Like, who knew that was coming? So I think I have to go that direction, but it's close. It's close for me.
Thielen has definitely been a lot better than we all expected,
Ryan, Prescott against the Chargers or Stroud against the Saints?
Just drop Dak Prescott. We don't need to play Dak Prescott anymore in a 1-quarterback league, guys. And actually, I'm not high on Stroud this week, to be honest with you either here, Ryan. Actually, my quarterback's sit of the week. No Tank Dell, lacking some explosiveness on that offense without him. Is Matthew Stafford available on your waivers? That's my favorite play at quarterback this week. That's who I'm running to. So if you can get Matt Stafford out on the waivers, drop Dak Prescott. Like we don't need to play that game. I'll start Sam Howell over Dak Prescott. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks. There's probably 22 quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield over Dak Prescott this week that I'd probably start over him.
Yeah, I'm not starting Prescott.
I think I'd start Desmond Ritter over Dak Prescott.
I would start. So he was my force player this week on our Wednesday show.
I'm about to lose my mind.
Yeah,
I'm betting against Ritter. I'm betting against Ritter.
I'm not a Cowboys fan.
He's the one who I said to start this week, and my bet with Greg that he can't get over 3,200 yards or he has to buy me lunch at the Expo.
Look, I am not a Cowboys fan. I am not a Dak Prescott fan, but this week I'm going to pull one of those, I'm going to go over on my island, by myself because I need CeeDee Lamb to be successful. And the only way CeeDee Lamb is successful is if Dak gets that ball downfield. And so this week, he's going to get the ball downfield. He's going to throw for at least 2 touchdowns, and Dak is going to have a decent week. I may be sitting here next week crying my eyes out because I just completely flopped, but
there's a week to do it. Yeah.
I am taking Dak this week. I want, and I think we will see a shootout in that game. I'm hoping for one. I want to see a lot of points. Like to see both teams in the 30s, and I think it's possible.
I mean, they put up a big game against the Giants, and Dak Prescott didn't do anything.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All he needs is a dump off to Pollard for a touchdown. All he needs is like the one CeeDee Lamb to go and get one. We can get there.
Chargers coming off the bye too. I think they got the problem child J.C. Jackson Jackson out of the room as well. I think their defense could be a little improved after a week of rest.
Well, we'll just choose to be in our places on this. I'm with you on Stroud. Stroud is a sit for me this week. That defense is tough. He's missing his weapons. His best weapon is going to have Marcus Lattimore all night, and I just don't believe that it's going to be a good game for him. I think he can still be somewhat effective, but it's not going to be what we've been seeing, and what you're hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Got 3-Man Bunk Bed podcast popping in. Appreciate you guys for joining. I don't know. I listened to their show this morning, and it was good stuff. Good stuff. He said he's got a logjam at wide receiver for my flex. Ridley, Garrett Wilson, or McLaurin. What do you got, Seth? You're shaking your head already.
Man, I'm probably sitting Terry McLaurin, right? I think that's kind of the logical choice. I just don't know what the true upside is this week of him. We're going to see a lot of AJ Terrell, and I think if it's not AJ Terrell on, it's going to be Jeff Okudah. I don't like either of those cornerbacks. No, I'm out on McLaurin for sure this week. I'm out on pretty much every Washington pass catcher not named Logan Thomas here in week 6.
And I think I'm definitely. So it's just a wide receiver and for a flex. So I'm probably gonna go.
No, just a wide receiver for the flex.
Yeah, I'm going Ridley here. Garrett Wilson's for somebody, he was like one of my top receivers this year, and it sucks because he's just, with Rodgers going down, it's really affected him. He had one good game, but Zach Wilson again, he looked like a pumpkin right away last week again. So I think I got to go Ridley here. He's been pretty damn explosive. They got the Colts this week. He'll be able to beat. Yeah, they're gonna. I am going that route.
Yeah, let's not forget what he did in week 1 against the Colts. That was his best game of the season, and they haven't fixed their secondary since. So good call, JC.
Yeah, Ridley was the lock for me on this one. Zach, start Ridley. It's the way to go. Millie Mills, Tyler West. Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for the love. Not a Falcons fan, but Falcons do have a nasty defense. So kudos for that. Speaking of that, let's pop over to the network. We're gonna pop Millie's question on. Millie is a part of the Fantasy Football Advice Network. So, wide receivers: Higgins, Olave, Godwin, McLaurin, D Hop, Dubes. Running backs: Bijan, Swift, Kyron, and Brian Robinson Jr. Let's see. Sorry, let me open this up a little bit. Tight ends: Goddard and Ertz. Does he deal Godwin and Brian Robinson Jr. to land Mark Andrews?
I don't know. I think Goddard's been coming on a little bit. I don't know why. I think here's my thought. I don't think I'm going to get rid of another running back here, period, because of the amount of running backs we've been losing week after week after week. That's my thought here. I mean, Goddard and Ertz are serviceable enough. Mark Andrews, you're still hoping he has these big games. I think I'd rather just keep what I got here. That's my thought.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I like if it's a tight end premium, I'm doing it. Mark Andrews is above the other two guys. The other two guys are good, but Mark Andrews is consistently really good. It's like having the second Kelsey. Like, he's going to be there. You've got the wide receivers to give up Godwin. You've got the running back. Well,
Can you do two receivers here? I mean, I might even just go two receivers if you want to go get Mark Andrews or deal one of your tight ends, deal Goddard.
yeah, that's the way I would go with it. I would try to take I would try to deal Ertz and Godwin. That's what I'd and keep B-Rob. I will say B-Rob's schedule is not good. It is not good. It is pretty difficult schedule.
Still a running back, man. I feel you there, but for somebody who just lost, now lost another running back. I had lost Chubb in the league, and then James Conner goes down. It's like, well, who else do I have? Especially with people that went, late in their running backs. If you lost somebody like that, like if you went like a hero RB like Chubb, and then all of a sudden you start losing all these guys, it does start to hurt. That's good trade value. You're right, but
Greg says it's too much for Andrews. And he says Andrews is not Kelsey. I'm not saying that Andrews is Kelsey. I'm just saying Andrews is as close as you can get to Kelsey.
Is Laporta Kelsey? He's been looking pretty good.
Laporta is not Kelsey. Kelsey is the only Kelsey.
Well, there's Jason. What about Jason Kelsey?
He is also the only Kelsey.
He's so good.
All right.
They're both so good.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So we lost Seth for a second. He'll be popping back on in just a second. So we're going to go to the next question. We got Chef in the house. Traded Pierce and Laporta for Mixon and Ingram. My tight end is Andrews, and my running backs are Stevenson, Brees, Taylor, Swift, and now Mixon.
Yeah, I mean,
what was the gain?
Mixon
over Pierce?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mixon's been doing very well with that team, and not doing good. I think that Pierce has just been kind of media. That run game has not been doing very well.
Yeah,
it's all right. Ingram is serviceable, man.
I mean, I guess with Andrews, you don't really need Laporta. I mean, I almost love Laporta as like a flex play.
Ingram's had one bad week, man. He's been, let's see if we go back and look. He's been tight end 5, tight end 6, tight end 7, tight end 7.
Oh, Ingram was my play. Like on the season in most redraft leagues, I took the T-Law Ingram stack. That was where I went. I felt like it was going to continue from last year, and so far it's doing me pretty good. I wish T-Law would get it going a little bit more, but we're still doing all right.
Yeah, Mixon's, he's been doing very, very well too over the last couple of weeks, man. But I mean, Pierce has been all right. He's been serviceable. I think I'd rather have Mixon here. I mean, Laporta's been really, really good too, but I think it's a fair trade.
I love the comments in the chat. Cowboys are looking like hot garbage. Keep Tyreek. I'm not giving up Hill unless you gave me a boatload. The question is, Pollard and Waddle is kind of a boatload, kind of. I don't think it's a boatload enough, but it's close. He said they just vetoed a trade with Tyreek Hill. I'm not a big fan of vetoes, Robbie. If everybody's paying and everybody's playing, unless it's just crazy. But I've seen some pretty even trades that they get vetoed, and I just think that's
people being salty that they didn't get the trade made for who they wanted for a player. To me, vetoes should only be made if it's clear collusion or it's going to completely alter the league in a bad way.
Well, you get those, like, you get to where people get biased, right? And then they start, like, they're vetoing a trade just because they don't want you to get a player. They're like, oh, that person's already competitive. I don't want them to land this trade. That's a bad trade. They're getting Tyreek Hill, but they're giving up a boatload in it. It's dumb. It's hard to get that personal bias. So typically our leagues are no veto, which is why I only do paid leagues personally. But, if it's not paid race, it really doesn't matter. But
It's hard enough already to make trades for other people to start vetoing your trade that you work so hard on.
yeah. All right, Ryan Pulling, can we trust London this week?
No. I don't think you know what's really going on in that offense. Who's really going to be the one scoring the points from week to week to week?
Yeah, I'm just not trusting that pass game. Like Ritter had a good game last week, and everybody's like I see.
Washington.
Yeah, it's even you're like Ritter's like on my hero list this week. You know, like
we play Washington though. I guess it's a good matchup. I think I mean, I put Ritter on there. I was excited more because of the matchup, and I think tight ends have been the ones benefiting. Bijan's been doing a lot of work. Ritter has. I mean, London has been making some plays, but man, against the Texans are an easy defense. I mean, he had put up 14 points, but them and Green Bay are the only times he's put up points. Other than that, he's not been.
Yeah, it's
Or they are talking about if it's a flex. Here's the real question: what else do you have, right? Can you trust London over who, right? If you have somebody else on your bench that's better, yeah. He's not a start. He's not somebody I'm putting, at my wide receiver 2 unless I have to. A lot of buys this week.
By the way, guys, if you're tuning in and you're enjoying it, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share this thing. We're on every week, every Friday at 9 o'clock, going through your questions, trying to help you win this week. We've hit big several times, and we're going to keep trying to do that. And we got awesome people in the chat also contributing to that too. So it's a great community, great time. Appreciate everybody tuning in for sure. All right, let's see. Keep moving. Greg said he wanted to put it. He's going to speak for Seth since Seth's not back in yet. He said, Ryan, is there a wide receiver you can trust every week? I like Drake, but I don't trust him. Flex play for me. I think that's what JC was saying. So same there. Okay. Would you trade Bijan for Eckler and Christian Watson?
I don't think I can come off Bijan, man. Right now he's like the running back 2 or some shit like that. I mean, Eckler's going to be coming back. We're really hoping that Christian Watson can go off, but man,
this is one of those like 2-for-1ers, like where they're trying to upgrade. Personally, I like Eckler over Bijan. Everybody is down right now on Eckler because he hasn't been on the field, and that's what happens. We see the trends all the time where people don't stick with their guy, and Eckler, when he did play, was not garbage. It's not like Saquon. Like when Saquon played, everybody was like, here we go, more Saquon of not being good, like Giants suck. Like when Eckler played, he was good. He gave you those CMC flashes, and he's not in a timeshare. If Eckler's healthy, it's his go every single time. And so to me, I would take Eckler over Bijan. I think Christian Watson is a plus. I do see Bijan getting more and more and more as the year goes, and we've seen him inch more and more away from Algier. And I mean, he's looked good. He's looked good a lot. So me personally, that's where I'm at. Seth, you're popping in. Let's throw you on blast. Welcome back. Would you trade, redraft Bijan for Eckler and Christian Watson?
Yeah, I think I would, honestly. I know Bijan's a lot of fun, but Eckler and Christian Watson I think is even more fun. And I think, again, let's just look at things rest of season. If we were redrafting, Eckler and Bijan are probably both still first-round picks. Bijan's probably going ahead of him, but the margin is small. And then you're getting a wide receiver 2, in my opinion, Christian Watson. Sign me up.
Yeah, I think Eckler went before Bijan, though, too. So, I mean, if you think about this beginning of year, you're way winning this trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good trade. Like I said, it's one of those buy lows, right? Like we see it every year, and good players take advantage.
It's a league-winning move here, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, because as long as Eckler, doesn't just get in his feelings and fake an ankle injury, to try to prove something about a contract, like it's Eckler, we're gonna be good. And I like Christian Watson. If you need wide receiver help, or you take Christian Watson and you match him up with somebody you already have, and you go get you another baller. There's tons of opportunity with that. I like both talent levels. The only thing with a 2-for-1, and this is something I always consider, and I tell you in fantasy, you need to think about. Anytime you do a 2-for-1 trade, it's never a 2-for-1 trade. It is a 2-for-2 trade because you're going to have to drop somebody. So the question is, whoever on your roster, because you see this and you're like, oh wow, yeah. Let me do this, but like whoever on your roster is that bottom level, it's Bijan and that person. So is it like Bijan and Dupes? Or is it Bijan and Curtis Samuel, and then you're thinking a little bit more into these questions about whether or not you would do this deal. But just always keep that in mind. People forget, and then they're like, oh, crap, I'm over the roster, and they got to drop somebody, and they, oh, I didn't want to drop that guy. Well, pay attention to that. 2-for-1ers are tricky if you're not paying attention.
Another thing, too, is Eckler, he didn't get to draft himself this year in his fantasy football league. So that's another thing that worries me, is he won't play as. Just kidding.
He didn't draft
It's true, though. It's a fact. He talked about it. He's like, yeah, I didn't get to draft myself this year.
Greg saying Ritter's undefeated at home. Or, sorry, Ryan saying he's undefeated at home. I don't know if it's Ritter's undefeated as much as it's the Atlanta defense and that run game is undefeated. Let's see. What is Ridley's floor this week? Like a point number?
I just had it up. All right, so I would say his let's see, versus KC was at 5, versus Texans he was at 7. They're playing the Colts though, man. The Colts have been so easy. His week 1 against the Colts, he put up 25 points. I'd say his floor is 14.
Yeah, he had 8 receptions for 101 yards, 1 touchdown. I would put his floor. You said 14. That's pretty close. I was thinking 15. It was not my number in my head. So, but either way, that's a good play this week. In PPR, maybe a little bit more. Maybe still probably 15 to 18. I think would be the floor. Let's see here. Rolling through. Who wins this trade? Purdy plus JT versus Herbert and Brian Robinson.
Well, like we just talked about, is Brian Robinson's, his schedule this year has been going to be kind of tough coming up. But it's JT. I mean, he's just coming back out in one game. I think the upside is probably more Purdy, JT. Justin Herbert's a hell of a quarterback, and Purdy's been very serviceable. So if you're trying to make an upgrade, I guess or a hopeful upgrade, you're still hoping. Zach Moss has been balling, but that only really shows that that offensive line is really good. He's able to make big plays, and if JT comes back and shows, he's fully healthy, it's a big upgrade.
Give me Purdy. Give me JT. I think they're gonna ramp JT up. I hate Brian Robinson's schedule over like the next 7 games. Like it's rough. Give me Purdy. Give me JT. Purdy is a quarterback. 7, I think. I think he moved back to 8 because Russell Wilson moved up to 4 because they went ahead and counted his game. So I think he actually started the week QB 7 on the season. So, I'm in for it. Give me Purdy and JT for the running back upgrade.
Yeah, they got a good schedule coming up. Cleveland, Minnesota, Bengals. Yeah, give me Purdy.
And we got tons of – I drafted Ingram, but I think there's just too many – well, there may be a lot of mouths to feed, but the question is, will it be Kirk? Will it be, Ridley? Will it be Zay Jones? I think consistently we're looking at, 15 points from Ingram. Maybe not 15, maybe more like 12, but we're double digits every week with Ingram.
They got the Colts, man.
Yeah. All right, start 2. Flowers, Foreman, Thielen. Ugh. Ugh. Thielen's an automatic. I've said all year that I don't like Flowers as long as Andrews is on the field, but I would probably take Flowers over Foreman. I'm just not a believer. There's a reason that he has not touched the field yet. You know what I mean? Like healthy scratch. Like there's a reason he hasn't touched the field. There's a reason that they ran Blasingame before they ran Foreman. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, I'm staying away from that. We have no idea what that's going to look like. I don't want to wonder what it's going to look like. I don't want to think about what it's going to look like. We know Flowers is going to get the targets. I mean, his average
His
target
floor is 8. This year, his lowest game is 8 points. So, I mean, after that, I mean, he's above 10 points. So,
he's probably averaging 8 targets a game. He's 10, 5, 10, 5, 11. So I mean, he's definitely getting the targets. He's getting the usage. We're going to be all right. Flowers over Foreman for me. Think you're in agreement?
Yeah, I agree.
Flowers. And by the way, yes, same time next week, every week, 9:00. Hop in. Remember, like and subscribe to this video. You can actually put us on schedule. We have several shows during the week, but this is our Q&A show on Fridays. So come hang out. Let's see here. London will be a top 12 wide receiver this week. I'll own my take. Worst case is he is flex wide receiver 2 finish.
Yeah, flex worthy. That's what I said.
SoCal, I appreciate you. You always have the takes, and so I'm not gonna hate. I've been on that island before. I don't know that I go top 12. I think he could have an okay week. I just don't believe in Ritter. But flex, I could say flex. If I have London, I would throw him in a flex, depending on my roster. We got a lot of teams, on bye, so I could see him being needed. You're probably definitely putting him in your flex. All right, this is 4 flex. Already have Metcalf and Waddle as wide receivers. I have Amari Cooper, Wandale, Mingo's on my bench. This is easy. A Cooper.
Yeah, probably Amari Cooper. I mean, they do. It's PJ Walker.
It's Cooper. We've seen PJ Walker be effective. They had a good O-line. It's Amari Cooper. I mean, over Wandale or Mingo. Like, you really think Mingo's going to go off this week against Miami or Wandale?
Amari Cooper is talented. I'm just going to go with that because of that. But
this is one of those moments where, Ryan, you don't get cute with your roster, okay? You don't sit your studs for like a big maybe. You just don't do it.
I agree with that.
Olave or Debo?
I think I'm going to go Olave just because he's the one on the team. More upside. I mean, Debo, you're still hoping for those big dump off plays. He does some crazy stuff with it after the play. I think Olave is probably who I'm going to go here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to pop back over to the network. We're going to come. We got more questions to hit. Thank you guys for tuning in. We only got a few more minutes of the show, so we're going to try to power through. Let's see. Let me shoot. I think Seth's trying to cut back in for the last couple. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. FantasyFootballAdvice.com. Free to join. Ask your questions on there. We're there. We're there to answer your questions. All right, I'm going to pop it over to the network. So, Joe and Tyler. PPR, need 3. Bijan, Mostert, Walker, Kyron Williams. Who you starting?
Mostert, Walker. I think those were 2 guys that we had to have in our DFS lineup this week. So I'm going to go those 2 for sure. And I don't know if I want to sit Bijan, dude.
I'm not sitting Bijan for Kyron. I'm going – Bijan's hot. I'm going Bijan, Mostert, and Walker. Mostert, Jeff Wilson's still probably not going to be on the field. A-Chain's not going to be on the field. It is Mostert Day. Mostert Day. Kenneth Walker has 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games. You're starting K9. Bijan is steadily climbing the ladder. Kyron, I think we've seen probably Kyron's top. We've seen Kyron's ceiling.
I agree.
All right, let's go. I think we had somebody said with Watson out, they don't trust Cooper. Yeah. I trust Cooper. Cooper's talented. Cooper's done it with worse than Watson. Cooper's done it, he's done it with worse than Walker. And PJ Walker at one time, I don't remember if you remember when he started for Carolina, but he had some games. I mean, he will air the ball out. He's not somebody that can't throw.
And he can run the ball too.
Right. So I agree. All right. I don't think we're going to see Seth again tonight. Sorry about that. I know that, all you IBT fans love Seth. We love Seth. We love Seth being on the show. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Again, next week, every week at 9:00, we are here. We are answering your questions. We're going through questions on the network. Go to fantasyfootballadvice.com. fantasyfootballadvice.com and join. Just sign up, create you a profile. It is a social media platform for only fantasy football. Interact, friend requests, DM each other. There's tons of content from rankings to, killer articles, different video shows like this that are uploaded daily. We have all kinds of discounts and stuff for you guys at different vendors like Trophy Smack. If you do Underdog, lots of promotions for you there. It's just a great place. Like if you want to do fantasy football and you want to hang out with people and you want everybody there is invested, you know what I mean? So they're doing this. It's fantasy football. So, it's a great community for that. It's a great place to hang out. We do have pro membership options. But if you just want to get on there and ask your question, ask your start sits questions, do it. JC's on there all the time answering questions. I'm on there all the time answering questions. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, same thing. Again, thanks for tuning in. JC, you want to leave them with anything?
Just go follow us. Like I said, we do that watch party on Thursdays, with Tyler, with the network. It's a blast. And just come hang out with us. Go check us out, the Sports Affiliate on Twitter. Check out the website, at thesportsaffiliation.com. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there too. So if you like reading articles, we got that. A lot of good people in our network. So it's always fun hanging out with you, Tyler.
Yeah, always fun with you too, man. And the beard. Hey, it is week 6. We got lots going on. We're a quarter way through the season. It's going to be big. Hopefully you kill it in your leagues this week. Hopefully you get that dub. And, if you started 0-4, don't give up. Okay. I came back from 0-6. You can do it too. Don't give up. Keep in. Don't sell your team off. Let's win championships. All right. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Peace.